Hello everybody, this is Jackson Cooper with UTV Driver, and today we have this, the 2026 Kawasaki Teryx5 H2. With a supercharger, 250 horsepower, and 5 seats, this thing is now the most powerful production side-by-side in the world. It's got a ton of optional accessories, but there are some things we don't like about it. So, we're gonna go through 5 things we love and 5 things we hate about the 2026 Kawasaki Teryx5 H2. Now jumping right in, the first thing we love is this engine. I don't know if you can see it in there, but it is a 999C supercharged inline 4. That makes 250 horsepower, but if you don't want all those ponies, it does have 3 different drive modes. It's got full power, mid power, and low power. So you can see it on my dash right here. Power mid, power low, back up. Mid brings the power down to about 80% of maximum, and low power brings it down to about 60% of maximum. Now, why do we want that? Well, it's 250 horsepower. It's a lot for people who are new to side-by-sides and may not want that much power. Now, I'm not saying you should just go out and buy this thing if it's your first side-by-side ever. No, what I'm saying is, if you buy this thing and you're experienced, you can put someone in it and put it in their lower power mode and not be super afraid if they're gonna get into too much trouble. But the engine is responsive, it's super powerful, and you can feel it. You know, I hit 95 miles an hour today and it had more in the tank. Not just a little more, a lot more. I was climbing at 95 before I backed off. That rivals the Can-Am Maverick R, the Polaris Pro R, and it's sitting near the top of the heap right now. If you ask me which one I'd want, this would be a big contender. So the number 2 thing we love are these rear seats. Now you can see they're, you know, bucket style, but this is a bench seat. Now this is the 5-seater, meaning you get this middle seat. It's not super spaceful, I will be honest, but if you have kids, if you have smaller adults who want to fit back there, it is perfect. You know, I am 5'10", I was sitting back there with someone who was 6 foot, and while we were touching knees, it was still perfectly viable. So if you have little ones or a family of 4 or 5, this might be the rig for you. Now there is a 4-seat option if you don't want that middle seat, and you get these same single bucket seats in the rear. It's also stadium seating, meaning that your rear passengers aren't just looking at a headrest the entire time, you're actually seeing what's coming up on the trail. So the third thing we love is this chassis, and not just the frame, but this ROPS too. This ROPS is actually integrated into the frame, making it even more sturdy. It's excellent, it looks nice, you have triangles everywhere, making sure it's secure. You got this one in the front, you got extra protection in the back. Not only do you have these right here, but you also have one going all the way back here. And we think that's excellent. You know, too often cages are made of just thin metal, and this is not it. It's thick painted metal, and it does a great job of protecting you. All right, so the fourth thing we love is this interior. Look at this. You got gray seating. You've got a Garmin tread right here. Now this only comes in the deluxe edition, but you still get it. It's excellent. If you want accessories, you have all these buttons right here that are very easy to use. You have your 4-wheel drive right here, and on the steering wheel, you actually have your power modes. It's got an excellent stereo that you can control through the Garmin, and it's really just a well thought out interior. I've been riding for about 5 hours. My butt doesn't hurt, my back doesn't hurt, the seats are comfy. It is excellent. So speaking of the Garmin, that is the 5th thing we love about it. Now you hear us talk about Polaris Ride Command all the time, and let me tell you, this thing rivals it. It's got a media player, it's got your GPS over here. It is really great, and see, we have our entire group right here. It's only saying lost signal because all the other rigs are off. Don't worry about it. Those little dots right over there is where the other rigs are. But it shows you where you're at, and it has a ton of trails mapped. Garmin has been used for years in the outdoor world, and it just kind of makes sense that Kawasaki would want to put it on their rig. People have Garmin watches, Garmin GPS, just about anything else you could think of, and it feels right at home in the Kawasaki Teryx H2. All right, so I love this rig so much that I'm actually going to add a 6th thing we love about it, and that is going to be this suspension. Now this comes with Fox Live Valve, internal bypass shocks. What does that mean? It means it's constantly sampling the terrain to always keep you in the perfect suspension setting. You don't have to adjust it yourself. Either set it to firm, normal, or soft, and the H2 suspension will take care of the rest. Now one bummer about it is that that doesn't come on the base edition. You have to get the deluxe to get that. But either way, we love it. It is fantastic. Before we go any further, go down below, hit subscribe, comment if you feel like it, send us a like if you're enjoying this video. It really helps us out and lets our bosses know that we're doing a good job. Okay, so what have you all been waiting for? The 5 things we hate about it. I'm gonna start with the transmission. That's right, this thing uses a CVT. Now, that's not horrible. The Pro R uses a CVT, and it's fine, it works. But this thing makes peak power at 9,000 RPMs, which means you have to be flat out almost all the time to get maximum power out of it. And I'm an East Coast guy. I like tight technical trails, and that's just not viable for those trails. We really would have liked to seen a DCT or something similar just to give this thing an extra pep and to make it more comfortable with various types of riding styles. Again, a CVT is fine, and it's really up to personal preference at that point, but we would have liked to seen something else. Okay, the second thing we hate are these harnesses. Now, we love a good harness. It is fantastic. It keeps you locked in. But as you can see, these are inertia reel, and that's not really that great in a rig this powerful. Before the seatbelts lock in, you're just bouncing all over your seat, and there's not a whole lot you can do to stop it. We would have liked to seen fixed 4-point harnesses in this thing that really would have kept you planted in this rig. The third thing we hate, no two-seater. Now, we understand you either come out with a 2-seater first or a 4-seater first, and they chose 4-seater because they saw where the market's going, or don't want to spend the extra cash on a 4-seater. A 2-seater just makes sense, and it feels like they're just leaving out a big portion of their market by not offering it. If you like a 4-seater, fantastic, go grab this thing. But we really would have liked a 2-seater option. Now, does that mean a 2-seater is never coming? I don't think so. I asked one of the engineers about it, and his response was just a shrug. So that doesn't mean it is or isn't coming, but we are hopeful. Okay, the fourth thing we hate. The Supercharger is awesome, but it is very, very loud. Now, everything else on the rig is fine. There's not a lot of clunky suspension parts that makes it sound like the rig is going to explode while you're driving it, and the engine sounds fantastic. And the Supercharger sounds great when you're flat out and you get that iconic whistle. But when you're going about 40 miles an hour or under, it kind of just sounds like a dying bird. When we're in stuff like this, the Supercharger is very loud. Sounds like it's struggling a little bit. It's not. It's doing its job. It's doing exactly what it was made to do. But it's pretty annoying. It's constantly chirping, and it's constantly right behind your ear. And after a full day of riding, that can get annoying. It's a little bit nitpicky, but that is the fourth thing we hate about it. And the last thing we hate about it is this rear seat. Now, I talked about how much I actually liked it, and I think having 3 seats is a good option, but if you have 3 grown adults back here, they're going to be sitting on top of each other. Now, this middle seat is extruded just about an inch to help with that, but it doesn't really matter. Like I said, I'm 5'10". I was sitting back there with someone who was 6 foot, and we were pretty much on top of each other. This back seat is pretty much only for kids, and that kind of disappoints me. And if I don't feel comfortable putting 3 of them back here, then what's the point of a 5-seater? Okay, some of those might have been a little bit nitpicky. Now we're going to tell you who this rig is for. This rig is for the West Coastman. It's for someone who lives in California, Nevada, Utah, even Colorado, where you have these massive sand dunes and you can go flat out. The H2 doesn't like tight trails. It doesn't like low speeds. It likes being 10/10ths all of the time. It felt a lot more comfortable at 70 than it did at 30. And that's the engine and the suspension and everything else working together to create this awesome rig. Now, should you still buy one if you're on the East Coast? Go for it if you want to. I mean, you can never have too much power, and there's still places to use it on the East Coast. And if you want the biggest, baddest machine on the market, there's your girl. This has been 5 things we love and 5 things we hate about the 2026 Kawasaki Teryx5 H2. If you like this video, drop us a like, a comment, and a subscribe if you don't mind. It really helps the channel and lets our bosses know that we're doing a good job. When you're done doing that, head over to utvdriver.com, where we have news, reviews, buyer's guides 5 days a week, and on our socials. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok 7 days a week. Thank you again for watching. We will see you there. Ah, baby!